political agendas won't be set aside.
Now I see this from my home. So yes,
in my opinion, then you can probably learn a thing or two about necessities and being convenient. We have the human condition is based on, we're just flawed, right? We're just flawed, and I am bad, and I have a problem with trying to decide what is a need and what is a want.
Right.
So it's important. This conversation is necessary. It's a need in our country, where there is hate being fought with hate, and the political agendas won't be set aside for the greater good of our country. It's almost sickening to a lot of us patriots, because we see that if we were able to just set our opinions aside, or our differences, and focus on our commonality is this: that we're the greatest nation in the world, and that we have the ability to come to people's rescues at any given moment. And that's important, because we have saved billions of lives from poverty, from desolation, from COVID-19. And the fact of the matter is that we're tearing ourselves apart from the inside out, because we're focused on our differences rather than our similarities.
Or solutions.
Yes. Yeah, we're all problem driven, right? Well, here's a problem.
Because you're out there in Detroit, right? And you have a lot of employees out there in the field. How has this impacted to your, let's say, leadership and also productivity with your employees?
I have to tell you, state of Michigan is a leader when it comes to safety and security of the people, and care about people first. Our governor is doing, again, this is not a political statement, I'm just saying that the care for the employees has been top priority. And I am just absolutely so proud to say that to answer your question, Nikki, is productivity is higher than it was before.
They can test whether he has, there's a saliva test or the swab test that you do it in the mouth and the nose. And if he's shedding viruses, according to if the test is positive, then he can take a break and quarantine for 14 days until he can become clear, and then return back to work. That's all it takes. It's just a test that will take only two days. And if he's negative and it's just a regular flu, depend. If he's able to do the work, he can wear the mask. It's no problem. He can continue. So that's something has to be recommended by his doctor to whether he can go back to work or not. They may have underlying disease, and they may be vulnerable to end up with complications of COVID-19 and severe disease.
When you hire people, make sure they have the kind of traits and characteristics.
What's going on right now in your region, in Netherlands?
Yes. So
how are they responding to this?
Yes, exactly. So 2 years ago, my region, Nijmegen, was the green capital of Europe, 2018. Each year there's a green capital in each state, each member state. They select one. And nowadays, like Mr. Burke also said, there's also a lot of opportunities working digitally, remotely from laptop, via Zoom, via video call. So for me, personally, it doesn't affect me at all. But if I look at the surroundings behind me, my families, my friends, they really get struck by this pandemic, and it's really sad to see. But when I think of the word recovery, I think about young people taking leadership, getting educated on the subjects, getting educated on sustainability, SDGs, the possibilities of local engagement, networking with businesses, governments, and society. How can I strengthen my community instead of protesting against the government? First, we need to see what are the opportunities that we have, and from there on, as a young leader, as a young student, network with different policymakers, experts from a local perspective, and then go into action with a certain project or a networking event, and just have a dialogue on this issue instead of protesting against governments and stuff like this. Because I think also Mr. Burke also said, like, you can't fight hate with hate. You have to fight it with a different kind of mindset. It's all a mindset, actually. If you think about it, a lifestyle, a behavior change of a person, but also on society in general. And that's what I noticed as well in my country, in the Netherlands. I'm from the Netherlands. Has been announced the European Green Deal last year in December 2019 by Frans Timmermans. He is the vice chairman of the European Commission. And he announced his Green Deal, and he sees opportunities right now because everything is in a state of, you could say, chaos, to rebuild something more sustainable on the basis of this pandemic. And
so I'm sharing on the screen ways to protect yourself, basically, from COVID.
I believe all these guidelines, it's part of protection. Yeah, social distancing, wearing the mask, especially covering the mouth. And now, whether is it practically to cover your nose for a long period of time? There's a lot of people having a hard time covering their nose because they may have some underlying disease, especially cardiovascular. But at least the mouth needs to be covered indoor. You don't cover it outdoor. If you're outdoor, don't wear the mask. It's a waste of time.
So if we can create a very informative, educational, and hey, it is going to happen to you if you don't pay attention, right, to the signs and symptoms and do a self-evaluation, but make it entertaining, catchy for our youth, and that's the only feedback that I have. And again,
all right, I have a question that you guys, I put on the screen. If you want, it's important for us to continue talking about just that, the financial support side of it. So that's a conversation that I'd like to continue on. That's what I'm trying to say. I think, preparedness and training are really the bedrock for our own safety. I mean, I hear this from everywhere right now. I mean, just self-sufficiency, self-reliancy, right? I heard it from Dr. Burke. There is a good quote that I'd like to share with you all here. Plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Dwight Eisenhower said that. Time is running out, I think it's already 12 o'clock noon here. Challenges and problems, you guys, happen for us and not to us. So it's the way that we respond. I think at the beginning of this session, Dr. Burke stated very well that challenges is the need, right? Challenges make us grow and sculpt us. What matters most is really our mental and social fitness, I call it, right? It all starts with the mindset. How we're going to respond to the challenges, right? To the longevity, to humanity here, to sustain on this planet, right? Find better ways to overcome some of the challenges. We need the ethical leadership, as we stated earlier also, right? We cannot achieve this environmental or planetary sustainability without achieving our own personal sustainability. We are the role models for our next generation. I think Ramon will agree with me on that. I hope that we can learn
100%.
Together.
Yeah.
Right, in finding ways to avoid and reduce societal risks and challenges that we face, that we must unite together. It just makes more sense now. The conversation was a little bit different then. Okay.